Hi, I'm Itaru Matsuyama, CEO of Tsubaki Nakashima. Nice to see you online.
Hi everyone, I'm Yoichi Ueda, CFO of Tsubaki Nakashima.
This is Tsubaki Nakashima's 2025 first half financial results presentation. So this is our first time to have the English version of the presentation of this financial performance. Last month we had a presentation about midterm business plan or 5-year plan. This is the same context, same intention. In the past, we only had the Japanese version of the presentation video. We had the English version of the PowerPoint, and we put the English subtitle on the Japanese presentation. We've been now kind of redesigning our IR strategy and approach, and we concluded that it's very important to have the English version of the presentation video as well to enable us to reach out to more non-Japanese global investor community. So this is the trial to do that. We have 3 sections in today's presentation. First one is a first half result by CFO Yoichi. Then the second half, the second portion is the progress on our new midterm business plan or 5-year plan that we shared in February in Japanese, which I shared as an English presentation last month. And the third section is Sustainability and Quality Compliance Committee Initiative Update by me. Starting with the financial performance update by Yoichi, please.
Thanks, Itaru. So I'll be starting with the key summary of this first half financial result. So I'm putting the 5 key points here. Starting with the first point, in terms of the operating profit, our OP is about 80%, which is relatively high versus the guidance of the 1 billion. But this is mainly due to the delay in cost spending related to the linear business carve-out that I will talk later. But excluding this, adjusting this impact, our progress to full year is about 50%, so which is just on track. Second, regarding that kind of second half outlook, we see the weak demand. We continue to see the weak demand, and we will have business condition or a tariff policy impact to be somewhat hit the sales in second half. But we will take countermeasure mitigation action, and we will maintain the full year outlook of the operating profit. On the other hand, number 3, our cash generation is actually, it says robust, but it is ahead of schedule through rigorous inventory reduction and improvement of the cash conversion cycle, which is a key item in our midterm plan. In addition, number 4, the transformation initiative, which we call it the value creation, which we lay out in midterm plan, this is progressing very well, steadily, alongside with cost reduction in procurement, productivity improvement, and other pricing initiative, all on track. Lastly, the linear business carve-out, which has been pending for a while due to a quality issue, it is now finalized for the carve-out in October. So this cash proceed from this deal will be incremental positive impact to our cash flow. So this is a positive to our cash flow. Let me move to the financial summary. This is a little bit busy chart. I'll start with the very right-hand side with the comparison versus full year guidance. So if you look at 6 months, our sales is about 36 billion yen, and the operating profit is about 0.8 billion yen. And how does it compare to the full year guidance? So sales is just on 50% on track, and operating profit, as I mentioned, that adjusting that one-time cost delay, it is also about 50%. So both metrics we are on target. Moving to the 3 months, please look at the quarter-on-quarter comparison. So this is a comparison of the April to June to January to March. Sales is slightly declining by 2.7%. However, operating profit is improving by 21%. This is driven by the reduction of the SG&A between Q1 to Q2. I'll talk about the full year guidance and some implications with tariff. Please look at the very right column, the full year. So this is the guidance in value that I talked earlier. So revenue we expect 71.5 billion yen. Operating profit 1.0 billion yen. And please look at the second bullet point. I'll elaborate a bit on tariff impact. So for Tsubaki Nakashima, the direct impact of US tariff policy in our business will be actually minimal because our production in US is basically, it's all in-house produced in US. So there's no or minimal, final product export to US. We see some tariff impact in the imported steel. So we export from Japan to US the raw material, which is steel, but we plan to pass through the tariff impact to the customer. So in that sense, the impact will be minor. And we expect some indirect impact, which is a demand decrease, especially the export to US and so on. And we see some impact, which we estimate about a little bit less than 1 billion yen in the second half of the year. With that, we see some risk in the revenue to hit the full year guidance, but with mitigation action, we maintain operating profit to still achieve that 1.0 billion yen for the full year. This chart shows a quarterly trend of sales, operating profit, and operating margin. As you see in the right-hand side, from last year, quarter 3, the sales is within the certain range of around 18 billion yen for the last 4 quarters. In this slide, I'll talk about P&L, especially the line below the operating profit. So if you look at the actual column of the first half, as we recapped, sales is 36 billion, operating profit is 0.8 billion. And between operating profit and PBT, which is profit before tax, there's a cost of about 1.5 billion yen between OP and PBT. And I'll give you the breakdown. So among this 1.5 billion, about 0.8 billion is about the currency exchange losses. Versus last year, December, the yen is strengthening. That is hurting us as a currency exchange losses. Excluding that 0.8, rest 0.7 is the interest expense and others. In terms of the line between PBT and net profit, there's a loss of 0.3 billion. Of that 0.3 billion, 0.2 is the tax expenses, and 0.1 is the loss associated with the discontinued business, which is the linear business. Let's turn to sales by region. So this is a chart for the 3-month sales of the quarter 2. If you look at the very right column, our sales, except for Japan, sales in each region is declining more than double digit. Especially Asia is declining 20%. This is mainly driven by a big slowdown is the ceramic sales for EV, which is from Thailand. It is partly offset by India growth, but still the decline, the magnitude is bigger than that. Next slide is about 6 months comparison in the same way. If you move to the very right column, year-over-year comparison, China and Japan, there's no much big decline, but the biggest decline is in Europe. As you see in the value side, Europe declined year-over-year in 6 months about 2.3 billion yen, which is the biggest. And the reason and driver behind this Europe decline is 2 components. One is about the decline of the market demand, especially in the auto industry. That's one. The other is about our share loss in the specific customers. Next slide is on the operating profit. So this is a comparison walk from last year's 6 months operating profit and this year's 6 months operating profit. So starting from the left, so last year operating profit was about 2.2 billion yen positive. And the first big driver is about sales influence, sales decline. Of that, minus 2.1 billion, the majority is coming from the drop in sales and associated drop in contribution margin. And this also includes the impact of the inventory reduction or production reduction, which is making to our loss in our margin. The next item is about the market condition and others, which is mainly driven by personal expenses, which is driven by the enhanced capability building in the organization. Next one is about restructuring expense. As we displayed in Q1, we incurred about 0.3 billion yen in first half. And second half, we incurred additional 0.3 billion yen, which is mainly the restructuring cost for Europe and America. As you see, the performance and demand situation in Europe and America is not in a good shape. So we took a proactive action to reduce the headcount, and we incurred some severance costs for that. Going to the positive side, first positive side is inventory valuation. Last year, we incurred inventory write-off and write-down about 0.8 oku yen in the first half. And this year, we are not incurring it, so we have this upside of 0.8 billion yen. The last one is value creation. It's mainly in the productivity improvement and procurement optimization. These measures are paying off, and this is giving us a 0.8 billion yen upside. And all of this amount to about 0.8 billion operating profit, as you see in the right-hand side. My last slide is about balance sheet and cash flow. I'll start with the free cash flow. Our free cash flow has improved significantly from last year, almost a minimal 0.1 billion yen to 3.3 billion yen in the 6 months. And this 3.3 billion yen is actually the highest number if you look at the last 3 years of the first half free cash flow. How can we achieve this? So there's two drivers. One driver is about inventory and working capital. Going to the very left, our inventory, we started with 36 billion yen last year, December, but we reduced more than 4 billion for the first 6 months. And this is resulting in an improvement of the cash conversion cycle by 9 days. Lastly, CapEx. As you see, the demand is declining. We are reviewing CapEx execution very strictly, looking at the ROI, so that the spending speed of the CapEx is getting a little bit slow. So our Q1, Q2 result is only 0.6 billion. But of course, we expect that this will not be about last year level, but we expect this will be around 3 billion for the full year this year. This is the end of my slide section, and I'll pass it to Itaru for the explanation about new midterm business plan.
Thank you, Yoichi, and I will cover the second chapter, update on the new midterm plan, or the midterm business plan, aka the 5-year plan. So we published this new kind of turnaround plan or transformation plan for the next 5 years of Tsubaki Nakashima in February. So if you look at the IR website, it has a presentation, the PowerPoints, and also I published the video presentation in English version last month. So if you're interested in, please watch that video for more details. This time we will cover the progress since the launch of the plan. So it's been 6 months, and the tricky part of this turnaround plan is, as I mentioned in the presentation 6 months ago, the initial 2 years is kind of the preparation period. It's taking the low-hanging fruits, but at the same time, there will be a lot of groundworks or the preparation, the planting the seeds to make sure we will kind of maximize the value creation in the second half of the 5 years. But at the same time, there are many the actual actions that we have to execute and deliver. So our intention is to show more granular the progress by the drivers. Are we taking the right actions? Is it making the right progress in the right timing, or are we delayed or not? To show that, so that the investors can understand what's the status of the value creation before we actually show the company level financial performance change significantly in the second half of the 5 years. And this slide is a summary of it. So the high level message, so far it's been on the right track, so that the actions of each drivers, we are taking the right actions and it's making the right progress so far. So this breaks down the 6 value creation drivers on the left-hand side, which I presented 6 months ago. So first 3 are cost reduction drivers. First one is the manufacturing footprint optimization, optimizing, merging, and integrating the plants, reducing the number of the plants, reducing the capacity and fixed cost based on the current demand to increase the utilization. That's the first cost driver. The second item is the procurement cost reduction. So the company has been working as a kind of separate independent plants. We didn't have a global integrated effort to optimize the procurement costs. So we hired a new chief supply chain officer, and under his leadership, we've been working on negotiating with the existing suppliers, working on enabling, expanding the low-cost country suppliers and making it as a global optimal supply chain network. And the number three is the productivity improvement. So operations and manufacturing by the standardization, simplification, automation, and digitalization, reduce the manufacturing cost, reduce the labor cost, reduce the material cost, and energy cost to reduce the COGS. The number four is the value pricing. So the company has not been strong at the value pricing based on the value proposition and our competitive edge, differentiate the pricing, price the products in the right, the value-based pricing. So now we are working on it. That's the fourth driver. And the fifth driver is the growth by the focus of newly defined four growth drivers or growth segments. India, aerospace and defense, ceramic, and plastic. So make sure we capture the growth in those new growth areas. Number six is this is the working capital. So the balance sheet item. So optimize the inventory, AP, account payable, and account receivable, generate the cash by working capital. So based on those six value creation drivers, we put the 5-year target. So the year 2029 target in the middle. The first four, it's the profit impact in billion. And the fifth one is the sales impact in billion as well. Then the last one at the bottom, this is the cash impact. So a working capital. So we put the cash conversion cycle, reducing it from 260 to 175. So it's an 85 days reduction. So that's the 5-year target we will deliver at the end of 2029. Then on the right-hand side, we put this year's plan in the blue letters on the right-hand side. So this is the year one, so not the biggest progress, but making sure we capture the low-hanging fruits while working on all the preparation for the later years. So based on that target, we put the progress so far in the graph in the middle. The darker pink is the first quarter, the lighter pink is the second quarter. So theoretically, we are supposed to hit the 50% because it's 6 months of the entire year. So looking at these numbers, as you can see, the manufacturing footprint optimization it's a longer term action, and we don't suddenly reduce the plant this year. So we are calculating it separately. So we put it as a blank this time. The next item, so we see procurement is delivering 0.2 billion yen. So that is actually close to the full year impact. So it's clearly, it's a overachieving or kind of accelerating the impact. So it is likely that we will over-deliver the target of this year at the end of the year. We are negotiating with the existing suppliers to make the cost reduction, and that's making a tangible impact so far. So it's going well. And the third driver, productivity improvement, it's making a solid, good progress so far. So we are working on making sure each plant has the right KPI, the labor cost per tons, and material consumption or utilization, reduce the waste, and also reduce the energy cost per tons, and sharing the best practices among the plant, and defining the several key productivity improvement initiatives in each plant, and tracking it in a meticulous way So based on that, so far we are making a solid progress to over-deliver the 6-month target so far. And the growth segment, so the growth, we have a little bit more detailed explanation in the next page, so let me skip that one. At the bottom, the working capital, the same. We are making a good progress so far, especially the inventory reduction. So delivering more than 50, slightly more than 50% mark versus the annual target. So making a good progress. Breaking down the growth driver a little bit. So there are 4 growth drivers. The message is, in total, it's on average, it's on the right track. So we are making a good progress. It is a breakdown of the 4 drivers: India, aerospace and defense, ceramic, and plastic. And we put this year's target in billion yen on the right-hand side, and the progress so far in the middle in red and pink graph. As you can see, and we put the percentage versus the full year target in the middle. So as you can see, most of the segments we are making a good progress, close to the 50%. India is slightly behind because of a few reasons. When we set this year's target, we overestimated the speed of the qualification of some of the European customers in India. It's taking a little bit longer time to get the qualification. And there are 2 reasons for our side as well. One, so the cost competition versus the competitor is tough. So the biggest competitor, it's a local NHB, which is a local dominant supplier in India, and we are taking a share from them. They are cost competitive, and our cost is higher than them. So we are working on the productivity improvement to reduce the cost, get close to them as much as possible. So we will recover that cost, the competitiveness, and catch up the cost competitiveness. The second piece is the commercial capability. So the initial 10 years in the past was really launching the plants. We launched 2 plants, and it's coming together. But the commercial capability, commercial activity wasn't at the expected level. So now we are enhancing the commercial capability. We hired a new commercial leader in India, and now enhancing the market intelligence, all the customer interaction, and penetration to the target customers. So we believe we will catch up and recover the growth pace of the India in the next year or 2. Aerospace and defense, it's making a good progress. It's mainly Georgia plant. I spent past 2 months visiting the key aerospace and defense customers in the US, some in Europe as well. The constant message across the board is the customers are giving us a pretty positive feedback. They really want to buy from us. Many of them say, hey, Tsubaki Nakashima, when you are ready, by having the right qualification, and when the material is ready, we want to really source from you. And they're placing some of the actual orders, or we have a backlog order. So that growth is really happening, and customers are pulling from us. So it's making a good solid progress in Georgia plant. The ceramic bowl, this has been the growth driver, including the EV. As I mentioned in the previous presentation, EV in China market is tough and tougher than what Tsubaki Nakashima expected a few years ago. Our competitor, the Chinese competitor, local competitors, are achieving a good quality, good solid quality with the lower cost. So it's a tough market, but we are fighting back by working closely with our supplier and enabling the low-cost material to catch up the cost competitiveness as much as possible, while working on the industrial, all the existing demand as well, and outside of China demand. So far, it's a 50% of the full year target, so making a good solid progress. Plastic is the same, close to 50, slightly behind. One of our main customers, one key project had a slight delay. It's partially because of that specific customer situation. The progress is a little bit delayed, but other customers, we are making a good progress. So as a total, we are trying to catch up. So that's the status of 4 growth pillars. And I also wanted to touch on a few other angles about this transformation situation, the status. So Some of the challenges when we work on the transformation, many of the changes are happening, going on in the company under the water, but it doesn't show up as a financial performance so far, and also it doesn't necessarily show as a KPI. So it's important to tell some of the nuances or details or the qualitative what's going on in the company. So the intention is to talk about it so that the investors have some visibility. First item is the procurement. So as I mentioned, as a number we are making the progress, but also behind the scene for the established suppliers, we are making a good negotiation. In parallel, we are working on enabling the low-cost country suppliers in China and India, and we are working on the switching of the suppliers to those sources globally. So that will start to hit the P&L in the next year or two. Next item on the right, top right, is inventory optimization. Again, as a number, it's making a progress, but at the shop floor level, it's making more visible changes. When I walk around the shop floors, in the past few years, Tsubaki Nakashima, the plants had a lot of piled up containers, steel containers filled with a lot of WIP inventories or finished products inventory. Now we are really wiping out. So the direction across the board is don't make if we're gonna sell. Let's sell the inventory first. We will only make and buy as long as we have the demand from the customer. So that's a big shift of the culture and the behavior as a company. So based on that, we are really chipping away all the existing inventories. When we walk around the shop floor, all the piled up containers were significantly gone. So the floor is much cleaner, and some of the employees are explicitly saying, thank you for doing that. Now it's doing the right thing. We have more space. It's cleaner, safer. It just looks better. And some of the employees, when I have a conversation at the round table, some of them said, I've been working for Tsubaki Nakashima for 30 years. The previous generations of the management told me, just pile up the inventories as much as possible. The more the inventory, that's the better. That was the message. So this is the first time in my 30-year career in Tsubaki Nakashima that management, the CEO said, you have to reduce the inventory. I am scared at the beginning because this is the first time. It might be risky because what if we miss the deadline for the customers? So we had a concern. Now we are doing the new way. And I realized as long as we have the minimum inventory quantity, we don't miss the deadline. So this is the right thing. We are just realizing it as a first-hand experience. So that kind of the perception change, the mindset change, and behavior change is happening at the shop floor level, the plant level. Productivity improvement is the same. So working on the 3 KPIs, the labor per tons or labor cost per tons, the material waste, reducing the material waste, and the utility, the electricity cost reduction. So it's making a good progress. Some of the specific programs are working on reducing the kind of excess amount of the ball, so making the ball tighter, smaller at the heading phase so that we can save the time of the grinding the later phases. Those activities are making the gradual changes at the shop floor level. And the last item on the bottom right, it's not the value creation driver directly, but it's more the enabler or foundation activities. We are working on the engagement, employees' inspiration and emotion, the psychology and the culture, and also strengthening the organization. It's core of my belief and the passion. It's beyond the monetary value or financial performance. Yes, we will, and we are supposed to deliver the financial performance, but at the end of the day, what employees are excited about is beyond that. What's the meaning of our job, our work? What's the meaning or impact of our company to the customers or to the society? So we are really trying to enhance and stimulate that part, the value and passion and aspiration as an employee body. what's the value or impact beyond money. So to do that, we have been working on the PVMV, the purpose, vision, mission, value of the company. In the past several months, the management team, including the employees, have been working on designing the new PVMV. So that was launched a few months ago, and now we are working on instilling and internalizing that as the employee body. So that is going on, and that's making a pretty positive feedback from the employees. And in parallel, enhancing the organization and capabilities going on. So bringing in some of the key talents in the impact-making positions, and also enhancing the training on the job after job, so that we can maximize the performance, really extracting the full potential of the existing managers and employees, so that they can see, okay, we have the future career in this company. So that is going on. And I will share the video of the PVMV later when we finish the presentation. The last part is sustainability activity update, and also the Quality Compliance Committee initiatives update. Sustainability initiatives in the recent highlights, the key achievements on the left-hand side. So we successfully published the 2024 ESG report, which is on the company website. And also we've been working on 10-ish major programs which will improve the sustainability performance and improving the cost competitiveness. So tracking and monitoring the execution of it. And as a performance on the right-hand side, a carbon footprint, the CO2 emissions, the message is it's making a good progress. It's delivering based on the target so far this year. Last item is the progress of the Quality Compliance Committee initiative. So end of last year, we had this quality compliance issue, the falsifying the spec data, the quality performance data of some of the business unit in some of the plants. So based on the Special Investigation Committee's proposal, we launched this new Quality Compliance Committee to structurally step change our quality compliance performance, working on the several different work streams under my ownership. So far, I'm the chairperson, and Sebastiano Rizzo, the Global Quality Director, is leading the committee. And under me, we have 5 work streams, really optimizing the compliance, the quality assurance and quality control. And also the second item is the HR, the organization culture and structure, and also in the middle, working on the control or the governance system, including the whistleblowing system. Then the fourth item is the compliance training and education. And the fifth item is a little bit broader, including a little bit broader, the risk management system. And this is the breakdown. I don't want to go into every single details of it, but we have a breakdown specific actions in each work stream, have been working on it, targeting at the end of this year, completing these actions so that we can say, now as a Tsubaki Nakashima, as a company, we have been working on the right things. Now we are ready to recover the trust from our customers and our stakeholders, aggressively working on just optimizing this quality compliance as a behavior, as a culture. So far, the progress is some accelerated, just some overachieving activities. Some is a little bit delayed. So in general, as a total, it's going on track. So that's it for the presentation part. So at last, I wanted to share the PVMV, our purpose, vision, mission, value video. So this is a video we published 2 months ago. The intention is really making sure our employees can understand and internalize this new PVMV as our own new purpose, vision, mission, value. So kind of repeating and showing what's the meaning of our company, what's the meaning of our daily job. And also communicating with the customers and stakeholders what we want to be in the future. That includes the integrity and the growth or safety as a basic value. So the communicating those as a kind of a very brief video, as a catchy concept video is the intention. So we wanted to share that with the investors as a final piece of the presentation.
What is life without motion? Or the world without movement? As we all strive to succeed and grow, not just for those we love, but for the communities we're part of, we must always keep moving forward. That's why Tsubaki Nakashima exists, to help the world to move by the power of precision, putting life in motion. For over 90 years, we've manufactured and supplied precision balls, rollers, and other mechanical parts for the world's machines, making a huge contribution to society. Without us, cars don't drive, trains don't run, and planes don't fly. Without us, the world stops moving. Because our products are all around you, often unseen, but always essential. They're present in the everyday and the extraordinary.
Most of the plane, 104%.
At Tsubaki Nakashima, we strive to be our customers' most dependable ally, pioneering the highest quality, efficiency, and innovation in everything we do. We believe in trusting and supporting each other, behaving with integrity, being open and accountable. We tackle challenges together. We're curious and dynamic, and continuously seek out new and better ways to grow our company, our people, and our customers. We are the ones who help the world to move. We are the ones who power change. We are the ones putting precision in motion. Because we are proud to be Tsubaki Nakashima.